John Cena, welcome back to the UK.
Thank you very much.
A very exciting time in your career. You're lined up for Fast and the Furious 9. You're about to join the superhero world in DC with Suicide Squad. You're leading the cast in this. It's a pretty good time to be John Cena at the moment. How are you feeling about it?
Thank you for the kind words. I will take your compliment.
Anytime.
And I'm literally just trying to enjoy all these opportunities and do the best I can. All they are is chances, man. I could suck at all of them, and then there are no more chances. So with opportunity comes responsibility, and I'm just trying to do my best to knock them all out of the park.
Well, you've been knocking a few things out of the park. Leading up to this interview, I watched an interview we did with you about 10.5 years ago, when you were leading the cast of 12 Rounds, and I was surprised at how kind of chilled out you were about the whole thing. With everything that's happened in the last 10 years, especially the last 3 years, what does it take to get John Cena to sort of lose it with excitement? How do you keep chill now?
Well, all the stuff you're talking about relates to business and career. If you really want to see me lose it, put the people I care about around me, and allow me to interact with them in a way that that these people won't see. And that's kind of why you don't see that side of me. This is all wonderful stuff, and I'm so grateful to be able to have been a participant in WWE for as long as I have. Here I am with a second chance at the movie business because I think you were the one person that saw 12 Rounds. All of these things that are happening are great, but at the same time, the things that get me really excited are the people that I care about, being around them and letting them know that I love them and hearing the same from them back.
Well, speaking of kind of keeping composure, anyway, you need plenty of it in this, Playing with Fire. Keegan-Michael Key called it Backdraft meets 3 Men and a Baby. Is that all you needed to hear?
Keegan has a way with words. He does. This is about the unraveling of that stoicism. So you say I'm always cool and chill, but I'm really actually doing my best to listen to what you say. I'm not trying to put on an indestructible front. I'll talk to you about love and people close to me. Playing with Fire is about that indestructible front. It is creating these fearless men who can tackle any sort of thing that's thrown their way, except stuff that they're not familiar or comfortable with. And then they're put in an uncomfortable situation, having to look after kids, and their whole world is turned upside down. And you basically just find that they're not indestructible. They're just really comfortable, and they're really only good at this one thing. And now they have to stop and kind of look at, what really is going on with my life, and what are the things I genuinely care about? And that's really deep. Keegan was so much better in saying Backdraft versus 3 Men and a Baby, but that's why I love the story, because it really makes you look around, whether you're someone who's doing what I'm doing or somebody who's just sitting down at the movies. Hopefully it'll get you to look around at your own life and have those thoughts and smile a little bit.
Speaking about taking someone out of their comfort zone, in this movie you play this kind of very driven single guy who's trying to control these feral children. How close to home is that now? Because you've got a very kind of wholesome image over the last few years with things like Ferdinand and Bumblebee. I'm guessing friends and family are forcing their kids on you all the time.
Well, it's really close to home in that I'm still single. I don't have a family of my own, but I've certainly become more and more comfortable around kids. And that stems from not just recently, that's from years ago. Those are the people I perform for every night. So on a regular basis, I'm involved with kids and their families. A lot of the charity work I do is with kids and families. So I know and meet a lot of kids and a lot of families. And it always was something that I just got more and more accustomed and comfortable to. But this movie really, in that regard, hits very close to home about someone who is laser focused on work and then realizes that there's kind of another world around business.
In the film, you have to step out of your comfort zone quite a lot. And over the last few years, you've made a very lot of interesting career choices from kind of action and comedy. You've been learning Mandarin, you've obviously done rap, you've done wrestling. You seem like a guy who likes to step out of his comfort zone, much like your character in this particular movie. So what would you say is the scariest risk you've ever taken in your career? And what's the scariest thing someone could ask you to do next?
The scariest risk I've ever taken in my career, I don't think is defined in career. I think it's defined in life. And that's take an honest look in the mirror and assess who I am and who I'm not. And that's really scary. And I don't think a lot of people do that enough because we have this perception and this image of who we are. But looking in that glass and asking yourself the tough questions and answering them 100% honestly, that's a scary thing, but it's actually been the catalyst for me to be comfortable doing all these things because I do understand who I am and who I'm not. What's the scariest thing anyone could ever ask me to do career-wise after this?
The next thing.
So because I know who I am and who I'm not, I know what I can do. I can play a fearless firefighter who then becomes vulnerable and emotional because you're looking at that man right now. I'm not sure I could do a period piece biopic, or like I don't have enough, I'm not like Keegan or like John, like they're trained actors. They can do an impression, they can put themselves in a scenario, they have the toolbox to pretty much be a chameleon of any sort of drama you want them to be. I'm not quite there yet, so at this point, the scariest thing would be for me to be forced into a position where it's too challenging, and I know I don't have the tools in the toolbox. I keep trying to push those limits of, hey man, do an adult comedy, do a children's animated film, do a wonderful children's live action film that's gonna put a smile on families' faces. These are things I'm pushing towards and pushing for. The upcoming projects are going to be pushing that limit a little bit, playing in new perspectives. But there's also stuff that I'm just not ready for. I'm not saying it's impossible, I just need more work. So that would be the scariest thing, if I was thrust into one of those positions and wasn't ready for it.
Well, John, I'm looking forward to speaking to you in 10.5 years after your first period drama. I think that'd be sick, man. Pleasure to meet you, sir.
Thanks, man.
The staff in the school at home.